You ready to do this?
Nope.
And
Let's do it anyways. It'll be
Yeah,
fun.
it'll be a great time.
Fun.
Start your stopwatch.
Yes.
Okay.
Somebody give us a countdown, please, and let's do this like we know what we're doing.
All
Wake
right.
up, Connor.
Wake up, Connor. I love this hobby.
3, 2.
Welcome to What's Neat This Week, episode 64, with Ken Patterson and the crew here. We're going to talk about some great trains tonight, especially my new company, Value Trains USA.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Perfect.
The What's Neat This Week video podcast is supported by enthusiastic model railroaders just like you. Additional support is provided by Athearn Trains. Check out all their new monthly announcements at athearn.com. And by Bachmann Trains. Now that's the way to run a railroad. Check out their website at bachmanntrains.com. Further support is provided by the NCE Corporation, the power of DCC. Visit their website at ncedcc.com. And thank you for supporting the What's Neat This Week podcast. This is the What's Neat This Week, show number 64 for February 2nd, 2019. I'm your host, Ken Patterson, the host of the What's Neat show over at Model Railroad Hobbyist Magazine. And tonight we've got a full house, guys. I got Joshua Barton over here next to me.
What
Look
up?
at that. I love it. Sugar Fire. And we got to eat Sugar Fire tonight, too. Joshua, thank you very much for dinner this evening.
You're very
thank
welcome.
you.
It was
Thank you.
delicious.
Thank you.
We've also got our favorite Daniel Coombs over here. Daniel, thank you for coming tonight, brother. I can't wait to see what you got on the agenda. I've also got a very special guest from a company called Value Trains out in the middle of God's country in Missouri. I've got Derick Samson here. Derick, thank you very much for bringing your products here to the show. I got to tell you what, it's a home run, and we're going to talk about that
That's
a
right.
little bit later.
Awesome.
I've
Thanks
also
for having
got
me.
Michael Budde here, our favorite Mike Budde, who's going to talk about cars tonight. And
Now
of
who's the
course, Jeff Meyer and Connor. Where's Connor? There's Connor over in the audience.
Hi, Connor.
Hi, Connor.
Thumbs up.
We've got Mitchell running camera for us. Hello, Mitchell. There's Connor over there. We got the Foden sitting there. Thank you for working the gas pipes today. And everybody's favorite that nobody ever gets to see on camera,
Hi,
Austin.
Austin!
We all love Austin Allard. This is the most fun show, the best hobby in the world. And tonight, let's get it
That's right.
started with new news. And I'll tell you what, there has been a lot of new news going on. Start it with the Atlas announcement. Joshua.
Atlas has just announced a new HO auto rack car. It's pretty neat. It was made originally in 2013. Greenbrier Companies introduced it, and they're going to make a bunch of different schemes. So we're looking for more information, and I didn't get to find a price point, but I'm anxious to know more about it.
Nice.
These are going to
Cool.
be great quality. It's going to be of the same type of stuff that you would always have come to expect from Atlas Model Railroad Company out there on the East Coast. And it's going to be a great new addition to have this brand new designed auto rack on the market, very much so to complement the Intermountain cars and the Walthers cars that are out there. If you guys can find them, they're hard to find. I know some of those auto racks on eBay are going for like $80, $90 now.
Yeah, they're way up there.
A lot of people love those auto racks. Now, Brian Patterson, my brother of another mother, had called me up this week and sent us some pictures of his layout. Brian is a fascinating individual. He works for the Union Pacific Railroad as a locomotive engineer right out in the same state where the NMRA National is taking place this year. It was great to talk to you, Brian, on the phone, and thank you so much for sharing these pictures of your layout. It's really cool to see everybody's work out there, and it looks like you've got a great start on this. I'd like to run a train on your layout, Brian. And also, I want to go straight over to Derick here now from Value Trains. Now, Derick is a brand new manufacturer in our industry. He is pretty much an automobile, what do you call it? You really create masterpieces out of cars, and you've been on cable TV before with a show. Tell us a little bit about your background, and I'm going to launch into how great your cars are after that.
Awesome. Ken, thanks first for having me over to the show. A lot of this passion started as a young guy. I grew up in an automotive family, but that being said, there was always a train or two around on the farm. Grandpa could work on steam engines. He spent many years working on boilers and welding, fixing steam engine tractors, antique engines. My dad was a welder and a fabricator. So you can only imagine how growing up, how quickly I got introduced into the imagination and the excitement that we had in our family. And as a hobby shop owner now, going into our 11th year, I've always been so excited about just all the neat design elements that companies were coming out with in these beautiful model trains. And I thought, you know what? I can make something here in the USA and market as Value Trains USA and bring something new and exciting to the market.
You said hobby shop, and it looks like you got a great hobby shop here. Samson's RC Hobby Shop. Now, what town is this located in?
Marshall, Missouri.
Marshall, Missouri, and it looks like you got a beautiful place. Nice shelves, very clean spot, tons of merchandise. And I also see a railroad sign here in this one picture here. So you obviously love the trains. Is this your train shop that we're looking at right here?
It is. That's the assembly area where we actually do all the assembly and the packaging and the shipping for our Value Trains line.
That's very nice. Wow. And you've got a full-blown RC track to take care of all your customers that are interested in that part of the hobby.
I bet that's fun.
I know. How great
Hobby
is that?
complex.
I know. That's awesome. So tell me, I have looked at these freight cars, and I've seen what caught my attention, obviously, was the colors. When Joshua first brought these onto the show, he literally said, I'm going to drive to your place right now, because he was so enthusiastic about the colors. What you've captivated here is a perfect freight car that matches the collector's market.
Absolutely.
You know, remember we used to collect beer cans, and you had to have one of every color and every brand. And the same thing, you've done NASCAR, you've done a lot of different stuff. You understand the collectability of things. So with this, you don't have really time to call 10 distributors, and there are about 10 in our industry that distribute product. But the distributors that may be interested in stocking this product in their line, this is your shout out right now. Contact Derick. And, you know, rather than us calling all 10 of you, let's just use the show to set up distribution for this product, because this is brand new on the market and he needs to set it up that way. And I got to tell you what, once you get into some of those collector memorabilia catalogs that are out there, this is going to be an absolute hit.
Yeah, not to mention all the custom work.
All the different colors. Now, the What's Neat cars are, in fact, custom. You want to tell us about that part of the business where you can crank these things out quickly for clubs and special events, Derick?
Absolutely can. As I started this company, one of the things I wanted to focus on was custom graphics, custom painting, and personalization to the individual in the model railroading industry.
That's awesome.
And number one, how cool is it to have a custom car with whatever you want on it to do, you know, for your layout?
That's
or for,
me.
Yeah. See? Look,
That's me.
what's neat this week?
You're going to send me a freight car with me on it. You won my heart over.
That's right.
So no, we just want to do something really fun for the industry that hopefully we can provide another level and just another step of the excitement that this industry provides.
That's awesome. What's the price point of these cars?
These cars sell for $29.99 as a decorated version. That does include KD couplers, KD metal wheels, and trucks, and that comes in our nice fully packaged set there. So.
Now, I will tell you, I've got a lot of KD cars, a lot of the old ones that came in plastic, PS2s, and, you know, just the old 40-foot freight cars. And I'm used to KD cars. It takes a few engines to pull them. But what I was most impressed about these wheels on your freight car the other day was last night I rolled them on the layout.
Yeah.
And they kept rolling. So KD has really revolutionized the axle points of their cars.
That's good to know.
And you're using those wheels, and in fact, you're using the KD couplers, which you know don't pull apart.
That's right.
So I mean, you've got the reliability factor, so that the novices and the beginners that may collect this, I could see you buying something like this for Grandpa. Oh, Grandpa loves trains. What should we get him for his birthday? And you pick up the gift set of 6 cars with all the beautiful colors. How do you go wrong with something like that? Because it's just right for the collector like that.
That's 8 cars in that set.
Is that right? There's
Yeah,
8.
That's right.
8's better than 6.
That's awesome. And what's the price point of the 8-car set?
The set sells for $229.99, and that does come in a beautiful box that we've created that has a nice die-cut foam insert with the clear plastic covering.
I've got B-roll of that too, because we shot some video of you this week. We put a video on
right.
Facebook as sort of an introductory of your social media to show the world what it was you've got to offer. And I think that you were very good on camera. You're very well spoken. I really appreciated that, the way it came out. It was a great video to create that night. Joshua, you were part of me putting that together. In fact, you've hooked me up.
Yeah.
You've hooked us all up with this
Well,
gentleman.
like I said, when he put it out on the interwebs that he had this new product, and I jumped on it and got a hold of him, and we've been corresponding a little bit since then. And I said, noticed he was going to be here last week for the hobby show, so I said, come on over.
There you go.
Yeah.
And tell us, what website would we go to in the event that hobby shops out there that don't have distribution want to contact you and also stock this product?
Absolutely. www.valuetrainsusa.com.
That's awesome. Tonight on the table, we've got a track cleaning car from Bachmann Trains. They sent it to us this week to look at it, inspect, and try it on the layout. And it's a pretty neat car. I looked at it earlier. It's got a very heavy track cleaning body of mass underneath that's pivoted on multiple hinges so that it doesn't derail as it goes around curves and goes through your switches. But at the same time, you've got even contact with the track cleaning pad on your track. I was very impressed with this freight car. It doesn't look like a lot to look at. It's a 40-foot boxcar. You know, if you're not paying attention, you might miss it, but what a great car with a lot of technology built into the bottom of it. Hats off to Bachmann for that. I'm really happy to show that off in the show. We've also got this beautiful BNSF locomotive, this ES44. This is a new product that's been announced from Athearn, except they're also coming out in the Prime for Grime paint scheme. And guys, this is pretty hot. If you've seen some of the BNSF and locomotives where they got the various types of doors on them because they've been replaced and patched and paint is peeled off, well, Athearn's now replicating this effect as we've seen them do in many models in the past 8 to 9 months. And I'm telling you what, they've really nailed it on this one. So check it out. I'll run the screen roll for you of some of these. There's also the CSX locomotive that's got the Western Maryland Fireball on it. It's a really neat looking locomotive. That's also in the ES44 line. So thank you, Athearn, for sharing that new news with us this week. Daniel Coombs, I see you sitting there at the table, and I know you're so busy all the time. What have you been up to, brother?
Nothing much. Last weekend I kind of took a trip down memory lane to go on a good old scout camp out as an adult leader. And
Wow.
that was fun. You know what? Cold weather. I don't care. I've been in it before. But now going on to the trains now. Like you said, I've been busy with just going to school and work. And I want to say I probably have done a few things on the layout here and there. Well, actually, I have been doing a lot of extensive cleaning on my track. Took off, taking all my rolling stock off, putting it off my workbench, and then individually running the cars over track cleaner on a pad so I can get all the wheel sets and that all cleaned off. Because looked at my track, and then you see, okay, it's black, I got to clean it.
Now, Daniel, February is What's Neat just came out, and that in that video, we show the great computer system that runs that layout in Greeley, Colorado, the Colorado Model Railroad Museum. Tell me how impressed you were with that technology, Daniel.
Oh my, I'll tell you what, I want to get out there now after you did the interview with Randy.
Palmer wants to meet you, and so does his brother. I mean, they all want. We're going to have Michelle here in a couple of weeks, so a lot of folks are going to meet her. But what a I want you out there. I tried to fly out there last time. I'd love to have you out there. I'll pick you up at the airport. I'll pay your ticket. I don't care. I need you out there. I want B-roll of you walking in the museum for the first time.
Right.
They're going to have a party for you.
I want you to figure out that system so you can bring it here and put it in the layout too.
Also, is that a challenge?
Lots of mental notes there.
Yeah.
We've talked about this before on the show, Randy. You've got a marketable product there that every model railroader would love to have.
Absolutely.
Quick way to raise money for that museum real fast, Randy. You could sell millions of dollars of that system. It's an awesome system. Speaking of the February What's Neat, I just finished editing March's video. I know I just drove like 4,000 miles to create all the content for that video. Wow. We visited Stephen Priest's layout. What a wonderful layout Stephen and Joel, his son, has built. And fantastic. Cynthia Priest has also participated a great deal on that layout. But they're going to tear it down, so I wanted to get out there and film it. It's just an absolute work of art. But that's lined up for March. Now, the February What's Neat has just come out, as we alluded to a few minutes ago with you, Daniel. And Randy Palmer did talk about the electrical system that does run that layout. They use 19 NCE systems to power that layout, broken up into separate sub-districts. And it's absolutely amazing. If you haven't seen the February video, you got to check out the computer systems that run that layout because, man, we got to get them to make it. We also feature an HON3 layout in the video of February. Art Lort's beautiful layout in Colorado. I filmed that back in February of 2018, and Art's layout is just a treat to see. We also go to Intermountain, and we interviewed Ron Engstead out there at Intermountain. He tells us about all the new exciting products that are going to start hitting the market about March or April, and that they've got many factories lined up right now to produce their products. So Intermountain, the State of the Union, is strong. I love it.
And I was probably the only one that enjoyed all of it.
So be sure to check out the videos at Model Railroad Hobbyist Magazine. February and March, they're going to be available. We've got over 100 What's Neat videos that we've made out there already, so there's a lot of great material to run. For podcast 63.5, I ran the video on how to make roads because I was sitting down here at 3 o'clock in the morning. And I thought that was a great video. And it came to my surprise that a lot of people that do watch this show are not very familiar with the content of material that we've got at Model Road Hobbyist Magazine. So you guys have got to check this out. It's not on the Ken Patterson YouTube site. It's over at MRH Magazine, Model Road Hobbyist Magazine. You'll find it on their YouTube site, and it's all there to be had. Tons of material, hours of great material. We get our hands dirty. We've built this entire layout and a lot of other layouts, narrow gauge layouts. There's a lot of content on there. So check it out, guys. Model Road Hobbyist Magazine's YouTube site.
And while you're there, go ahead and subscribe and like it. Hit the little bell to
And
get
then it goes-
notifications, and then go to the Ken Patterson website on YouTube and do the same thing. Subscribe, hit that little bell, and you'll get some notifications whenever we put stuff out.
Indeed.
That's awesome. Michael, buddy, tell me, what have you got going on, brother?
Well, we wanted to talk a little bit more about these Moloko boxcars. I wasn't feeling too good the last time we talked about them. It's probably pretty evident from my lack of performance. But anyway, I didn't even realize at the time that there were two different prototypes. I just thought the Fruit Growers Express and the General American were the same, which was not the case. So the Frisco cars are General American, which are all welded, and then the FGE cars are riveted. You know, so that was a huge difference there, along with the side sills. And these cars are really detailed, and we wanted to point that out. Jeff and I and Nick Molo. Nick is the owner of Moloko. He donated 3 cars for Jeff and I and Ken to weather for some charities. So we decided, like Alzheimer's,
So autism and cancer.
and
maybe.
cancer. Yeah, those are 3 good charities. So we're going to be doing that over the next, I don't know, few weeks.
Few
or
weeks.
So, yeah.
So yeah,
And,
just weather one
just
and
let
put
us
them up
know.
again.
But then the other thing I wanted to talk about is these auto frame loads that are from ITLA. Imagine that laser art, I think, is what that originally stood for. Last spring we had Ron Perry and David Huntstein come down from Canada, and Ron Perry brought a bunch of those ITLA buildings, which were really really
those were
impressive.
Really neat.
Nice.
So they've branched out into doing this auto frame load, and this particular one is 1992 Ford Crown Victoria auto frames, and you get enough to do 5 stacks, which is take an 89-foot flat car, and the cradles on the top and the bottom. Then they're also doing a Chevy Silverado pickup frame load, and I think from the 70s or 80s, I'm not sure, but that will include the equipment boxes on the ends and all the tie downs and everything like this. This is how they come. They're printed or laser cut on this laser board, is what Nick called it, and it's really, each stack is only 4 pieces, one side and then, well, 2 sides, and then a front and rear cross member, and the whole stack goes together fairly easily. So the way he has it set up is there's an overlay piece that goes over the deck of your 89-foot flat car, which extends that about like 4 or 6 inches out on each side, which is too modern for my modeling era. So I'm probably going to leave that part off and just put them directly onto the AccuRail flat that I'm using. So everything went together on that really, really well. It's almost a press fit, and you have to use ACC at the corners to keep it, And then, of course, you get them stuck to your fingers and everything. It's always a lot of fun. So, but anyway, I'm real happy about that. I'm excited about that, and I think they're going to sell just the cradles too, to have chained down to an empty flat car.
Mike,
So
that's
I think
neat looking, man. That thing came out really good. It's hard to believe that's cardboard because it looks fantastic.
I think it's really thin wood. He said they use it in the cabinet making industry.
Okay.
So it's called laser board, but it's super thin and pretty strong.
That's
So
amazing.
I'm real happy with it.
All right, we got Jeff Meyer here tonight. Jeff, tell me what is going on, brother.
Not much. I didn't bring anything. I didn't know if I was going to be on the show tonight. But there was one thing I was going to point out. Atlas also announced another new freight car, the ACF 5250, 4-bay covered hopper. If you remember the old Athearn car that everyone always had. I mean, someone finally, I know that's been one of the most requested freight cars that I've seen in the last 5 or 10 years. Tons of people have been asking for it. So, and I think they said they're going to do like 4 different versions. So they're going to do from the early 70s to the modern one. So that'll be neat to see when they get that out.
That's fantastic. I love it when all this equipment works. I keep checking things up here, and they're all working.
Sounds great.
Working good.
It's all working great.
So-
Now on the table tonight, we've got something really exciting. We've talked about this many times in the past on the show, and that is we've got the George Sellios fine scale miniature. I know, the Franklin and South Manchester boxcar that we are going to put on eBay about Wednesday. So this video will be out on Monday. On Wednesday, check eBay, and you will find this boxcar. It'll be listed under the words "What's Neat," and then Franklin and South Manchester, George Sellios. I'll work all the words into the title so that you guys can find this 40-foot AccuRail boxcar that George weathered and decaled for the show so that we could put it on eBay. And this is George's way to give a donation to the Colorado Model Railroad Museum out in Greeley, Colorado. After talking about the museum so many times and about the beautiful expansion that they're preparing to build out there, George really, really wanted to do something to help be part of that. And so he's also donating a coal car here to be on display at the museum on permanent display so people can look at that and just absolutely admire the fact that this is a work of art. This is not something you can go to the hobby shop and buy. This is not something that George has ever given out as something for people to have. It's his own private railroad on his own private layout, and you know he's a very, very good modeler, so it's an honor to have his work here. This, again, will be on eBay on Wednesday, so check it out. I've shot these things outside. They're beautiful cars. We'll have lots of photographs to show off exactly what they look like. The boxcar will be something special for somebody to run on their layout, and whoever buys it, I can't wait to see pictures of it on your layout. That is so much fun.
That's awesome.
This is the
That's
best
great.
hobby in the world, and it's the
Very best.
camaraderie and it's the help of everybody contributing together that makes this hobby fun. Whether it's your favorite museum or one of the groups that you might be starting a club or something like that, there's so many wonderful things that we can all do in this hobby. Not to mention the fact that you've got to be a plumber, an electrician, you got to know topography, you've got to be an expert at painting. I mean, how many different facets of this hobby are so educational that can actually branch you out to a career? I've seen it, I've said it. I mean, courtroom models, don't get me started. There's money in that business, and you all know how to build models. You just got to get a stable full of lawyers and rock and roll. You've got your own business. I mean, it works. The bills are paid, and you get to do what you want to do every single day of your life. I do it, we do it, let's do it
That's
together,
right.
rock and
That's
roll.
right.
What else do we have going on before we call this one quits? We're at 21 minutes, guys.
I have a shout out that I'd like to give
Okay.
to Gordy Robinson. We have a picture here of him and our favorite Lionel Strang.
Yay! We love Lionel.
That's right. So Gordy is an NMRA member, as a lot of us are, and he is going to be hopefully the worldwide director of the NMRA. So we all need to get together and vote. If you are an NMRA member, you've already got your e-ballot, and you have till March 1st to make that decision. And I'm going go Gordy. So yeah.
Rock and roll, Gordy. Guys, have I told you how much I love my NCE throttles? I've been running trains down here all week with them, and I just love the feature where you hit stop.
And it stopped.
Because
stops.
I had the
Yeah.
the lift outs out, right? And so I just went ahead and started running the train, and I got on the phone, and I hit stop.
And
Wow.
it stopped.
Thank you. I love it. It's insurance. It's insurance. The fact is, it works. The buttons are simple. All the commercial people that out there in the industry that manufacture use it to test their products, and so many large clubs and home layouts have it. How do you go wrong? So if you guys are looking for a power system to power your layout, we absolutely enthusiastically endorse NCE because it works. It's simple, and I love it when it's simple.
But then you got me that teaches you how to operate other
Thank
stuff.
goodness we have you,
Complicated
Daniel.
stuff.
Did
right.
I mention
The brains behind the deal.
I know. I still want to get you out to that museum. I just want to
know.
see you out there. All right, so I'm going to save the eye candy for last, and there has been a lot of eye candy this week. I've done a lot of photo shoots this week out in 6-degree weather, which really doesn't hurt because I'm shooting springtime through the lens. Yes, I shot the 2019 Bachmann cover. Finally got it finished. The 6-degree photo shoot didn't turn out that great because, quite honestly, I didn't have a lot of sun. I ended up setting up 3,000 watts of of lights, and it still didn't light it up bright enough. So I did a reshoot on it yesterday. Rock and roll, full color, full sun with this beautiful Bachmann K4 streamlined locomotive in all of its glory. Hats off to Bachmann, guys. This is a winner. It's got the TCS sound in it, and it's also got the current keeper device in it that keeps it from stalling on your track. So I really, really like this model. It looks great in the photograph. I used a tunnel diorama that we haven't used in going on 8 years. This is something that we built to shoot some Erie Lackawanna Bachmann locomotives on way back when. They were electrics coming out of the tunnel. It was a great diorama. So multi-use, this thing got used again, pulled out of the garage, and it's fresh and beautiful. Also today, because it was 65 degrees outside, I couldn't stand it, I took the Oregon, California, and Eastern Railroad locomotives that I had from Michelle Kempema out there at the museum. I think those are Atlas U-boats. And I put them on a long trestle diorama over a body of water, dropped in some pine trees and some mountains in the background, and we ended up with this gorgeous shot. I mean, it took 15 minutes to set up. I wanted to look at it for about an hour, though, after it was set up, because this one came out good, guys. It's really neat when you can layer your scenery. I mean, there's so many. I have an advantage of shooting stuff outside. I'm not confined to the limits of my layout space. I can stack things up. I can really layer things to give you the various types of scenery so that from the perspective of the camera, it's right on, it's good. So rock and roll, 2 great photo shoots this week, and I love it when weeks come out just like that.
That's right.
It's awesome. I love my job.
Hold on, one thing. We got the Scale Trains Gunderson hopper that we need to talk
yeah.
about real quick.
What is that, Joshua?
Yeah, so that's from Scale Trains. That's a Greenbrier Gunderson covered hopper, and it is graffitied by Rick Dakota Kempf. You can go online, Facebook, and check him out. He will be here in a few weeks, maybe next month. He's going to bring me some of his stuff and show some stuff off. So we look forward to having him out there, and he does really great work.
That's awesome. Let's go around the table and see if there's anything else before we close this one out tonight, guys.
Oh, I wanted to give a shout out to Albert Timmons, who sent some pictures of his work and of some Union Pacific toaster locomotives, they call them, burnouts on the side.
Oh, yeah, I saw those.
And
Those are
he
cool.
sent in some photos of his work, and it was really impressive. So, if anybody else wants to see their stuff featured on our show, send it to Ken.
Or send it to
him.
any of us if you got our contact info.
Yeah.
Facebook.
Right.
Facebook.
Right.
Right.
The most exciting thing about tonight's show, the thing that made the show the easiest, was just listening to Derick talk about his trains, because you know what? His enthusiasm, his passion, plus his pocketbook is seriously invested in this project. Yep. You're all in, baby.
I am all in for you guys, though.
I love it. Dude, you have picked a great industry to set your flag in, and we will do everything that we can to help you promote your products, because I'm enthusiastic about it, and Joshua loves them.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. You've got it all. You've got the color, you've got the quality, you've got the reliability of the wheels and the couplers. It's the perfect impulse gift, especially the What's Neat cars. I bet we could sell about 100 of those.
Guaranteed.
I'm thinking.
Oh, yeah.
All right, guys, anything else?
I think
Austin
that'll
Mitchell.
do it.
All right.
Guys, I think it's time to go run some trains. This is the best hobby in the world. Show number 64 of the What's Neat This Week podcast, where you come to find out what's going on every week in the hobby of model railroading, because we've kind of got our fingers on the barometer and we got a good pace on what's going on. So rock and roll, best show in the world, best hobby in the world.
That's right.
It's your show. It's our show. We all produce
Indeed.
it together. And anything that you'd like to send to our What's Neat This Week Facebook page, we'll be happy to put the pictures of your work on the show or share your products if you're a manufacturer out there. This is your show, and it's all about doing one thing: promoting the best hobby that we all love. So rock and roll, guys. I hear the music starting in the background. Let's go run some
Oh yeah, train basically in the car is here, so local. No, like power's too big. No, it's not. Let's do the yellow. Let's do this one.